Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It is October the 8th, 2021. We are on Psalm 26. This is a psalm of David. Judge me, O Lord, for I have walked in mine integrity. I have trusted also in the Lord. Therefore I shall not slide. Examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart. For thy loving kindness is before mine eyes, and I have walked in thy truth. I have not sat with vain persons, neither will I go with the dissemblers. Dissembler, excuse me. I have hated the congregation of evildoers, and will not sit with the wicked. I will wash mine hands in innocency. So will I encompass thine altar, O Lord, that I may publish with the voice of thanksgiving, and tell of all thy wondrous works. Lord, I have loved the habitation of thy house, and the place where thine honor dwelleth. Gather not my soul with sinners, nor my life with bloody men, in whose hands is mischief, and their right hand is full of bribes. But as for me, I will walk in mine integrity. Redeem me, and be merciful unto me. My foot standeth in an even place. In the congregation will I bless the Lord. You have to forgive me for stumbling. I came down and I tested my headset like I always do. I make a short little video to test to see what it sounds like. And I that crackle that there's like a static crackle. And I'm thinking that it's in my headset. I don't actually hear it on the videos coming out of the computer. So I don't think you guys are hearing it, but I'm hearing it through my headset. So I was a little concerned about that going into this, and really hit me. Um, there's not much to unpack on this one. I will wash mine hands, and so will I compass thine altar, O Lord, that I may publish with the voice of thanksgiving and tell of all thy wondrous works. This is definitely a psalm of praise. For thy loving kindness is before mine eyes, and I have walked in thy truth. Yeah, beautiful psalm of praise. That is a psalm of praise, and not much for me to unpack on that one. Um, not too much else. I could, I could go on. So I saw on Twitter Mr. Biden um, was saying uh, said something like he was he wasn't so worried about people quitting their jobs because he said what's happening is United Airlines went from 41% vaccinated to 99% or 97% vaccinated. Yeah, well, dude, what you're not recognizing is the fact that they went from 97% employed to 41% employed. Dick. That's some that's some garbage. That's some absolute garbage. You are praising the fact that you have made it to where people cannot work. That's that's some hot garbage, and you are a complete dictator asshole that we don't need. I know that's some rough stuff to be saying early in the morning, but that one chaps me a little bit, man. I I have always kind of wanted the best for everybody. As long as people can get what they need and just leave me alone, I'm usually pretty happy. But to praise any kind of unemployment, that's sick. That's sick, and that's what these people are doing. They're finding ways to praise people either getting fired or quitting their jobs, and that's so absurd. It's just so absurd. Um, I don't. What do you say to that? What? When are we going to stand up to this? I mean, this is we're not a. It's not like it's a majority thing anymore. It's not like oh, you know, 60, 70% of the people are behind him. We're not at that point anymore. We're his his approval ratings apparently are have dipped below 40% now. I don't know how low they are. I just I don't keep up with that stuff because it doesn't bother me. I actually have self governance. Thank you very much. Other people care about that stuff though because they don't have self governance because they can't. I think a lot of that is because born up in a when you're born up in a nanny state, you get that. When you're born up being coddled your entire life, you have zero self governance. I actually didn't have very much self governance, or I didn't have very much looking after when I was a kid. I was one of the 80s latchkey kids where, single mom, and she would work, and when I would get off school, I would have a key to the house. It meant I could come home, I could come in the house, and I could do whatever I want. I'd have to wait for her to get home so that could cook dinner and watch TV, go to bed, all that stuff. So I learned very early on how to live my life free from somebody else telling me what to do all the time. Problem now is it's the school system. Let's just be honest. It's the school system. That it's this system that these kids are brought up in. Because the education system, the school system was not meant to educate anybody. The school system was meant to make mindless drones. We still operate upon the concept. What was it? Polish? Was it Poland that came up with it? I don't remember. One of the European countries, European really, one of the countries, I don't remember which one, came up with the concept that we don't. All we need the student to know is just enough to be able to press the buttons. To be able to come in to work, do their work, and leave. All they need to know. They don't need to know anything. They don't need to know the hidden knowledge that the upper class they know, because believe me, they know some knowledge that we couldn't even fathom. And somewhere along the line, it went from giving them just enough knowledge to be able to press the buttons on the machine to indoctrinating them into thinking that they need a body ruling over top of them. You don't need a body ruling over top of you. You have self governance. You can live your life according to a moral standard, and of course that's another problem too, is that no one ever teaches any moral standards anymore. But you can live your life according to your own moral standard, be able to work your own way, do your own thing, and your life would still exist and be fine. It it sounds like anarchy when you say it a certain way, and that's I've I've thought about it several times. Maybe anarchy might not be the worst thing in the world. And I'm not talking about anarchy is not you know crazy wild teenagers running through the streets burning down buildings. That's not anarchy. Anarchy is actually living without any governance whatsoever. It's about having your own self-governance. It's about nobody on top telling you what to do. I think at one point in time, there had to have been people that were teaching their kids how to live like that. We haven't lived like this forever. There's no way we've lived. Because this model, I mean, this system, which a lot of people don't understand, this system was not in place thousands and thousands of years. Not like, not like the way that everybody tells you it was. Because if some of those people on top or in the colleges or wherever the heck they are, if they had their way, they would tell you, "Oh well, we've had this system in place for hundreds of thousands of years. Men have lived like this forever, and yada yada." No, no, they haven't lived like this forever. It's been worse, and it's been really worse, and then it's been really really good. There were even though we can't prove it, we know that there were countries out there that existed that they lasted in harmony. Whether you want to believe Tartaria or not exists, there's still records of this country that existed that was just fine with everybody else. It had to have happened. The earliest days of Israel in the Bible, they were able to exist until, of course, they started falling apart. But there was there was this self-governance. There was this ability to be able to make their own way and exist with the world. But again, it comes back to now we are taught, you can't exist unless you have government. Government is the only thing that keeps you in line, and government's the only thing that keeps crazy nut jobs with guns from coming into your house and killing you. Don't worry, it's okay. Trust the government. The government knows exactly what they're doing. Just absurd. You can believe that. You can believe that all you want, right up until the government itself comes inside of your house with guns, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Just, I watched a video of Jim Brewer. You guys know the old comic from the '90s, late '90s, I'd say, mid to the late '90s. He's looking old now, but he is old. I mean, what do you want? He's got to be pushing 50. Hell, man, I'm closing in on 50. Um, but he was he's one of those that's awake, and he was talking about just the parakeets, the puppets, the parrots, the ones that they just need somebody to help guide them. and it's these people sadly are just so lost. I've heard this before. I somebody had said it's probably why Christ told us to try to love our fellow man, love them the way that we would want to be treated, because they don't know any better. You know, they want somebody that they think knows more than they do to tell them what to do. And man, because it's going to get to a point where you're going to understand that not everybody at the top is good for you. I think the way that he put it in the thing that I was watching was that, these people say, "Oh, the government wouldn't lie. Why would these people lie?" Single human beings down on this level, they'll lie to you all the time. But no, the government can't do that. There's checks and balances in place. And I could swear when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I probably asked that question several times. Is that why would you believe that somebody couldn't lie? Where are the checks and balances? Show me the checks and balances that the government has to go through in order for you to believe that they're not lying to us. Because people lie all the time. One person lying might not be able to get away with it. But three people lying, if three people were in on a lie together and they knew that they could benefit from the lie, hell yeah, they would lie. And you would wind up seeing that that lie could be perpetuated. Now, let's say that you had a family. You had a family of liars. You had a family of, let's just say, a family of maybe 20. Mothers, daughters, fathers, sons, maybe cousins, relatives. Let's just say 20, 30 people. I'm not just talking about one mom and dad with 18 kids. I'm talking like, people. An old cousin Eddie or something comes over and he says, "Hey, if we make up this lie, we can make money off of it." And if dad has no moral compass because he was brought up not to have a moral compass, then he would say, "Okay, sure." So we would have to train the kids to not have that same moral compass, and we could get them involved in it. So the money machine starts going. And of course, when that changed again. Sorry, I'm looking at something else. When when the family starts growing because they're making money and they're able to convince more and more of their children that they need to act a certain way, and that they don't have a moral compass, that the people outside of their family are not, since they're not family, they're not legitimately human anyways, they don't have to worry about it. But when this lie keeps perpetuating between this family, and as the family grows, because the family gets richer and richer because they keep lying to people, they might bring in another family. They might say, "Hey, our neighbors are over there. They're making money. They're good people. You track them back far enough, they're probably related to us. Hey, let's invite them in. Let's do this." And it keeps growing from there. And the next thing, excuse me, next thing you know, you have maybe 12, 13 families with hundreds of people closing in on, maybe 1,000 people that have acquired so much wealth and have zero moral compass whatsoever, have perpetuated a lie so deep that they are convincing the normies around them that the lie is real, that it starts becoming truth to the people on the bottom. You know, people start parroting that lie over and over again. No matter how many people on the other side, start finding it and saying, well, this doesn't look right. This isn't right. So it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And people can act a certain way when they are in front of your face, but are a completely different person whenever they get by themselves in private. I don't understand why people can't understand that either. I'm sorry, but the people that you see on the TV aren't your friends when they get off TV. I, it's not just because Joe Newscaster smiles at you, and no, wait, let me give you a better example. Just because the waitress at Hooters calls you honey doesn't mean that she's in love with you. It's there you go. So you have to understand that yes, people can lie. People can absolutely lie to you straight right to your face. You may or may not know it, but they can. They can and they do. And when it comes to protecting your family, protecting your way of life, protecting your money, some people on top will go above and beyond any human decency in order to protect that. And I didn't even have to involve any conspiracy theories or anything inside of that in order to prove that point. That was just somebody trying to protect their family and their way of life, even though that way of life is wrong, and that way of life is has no moral grounding. It still gives you an idea of how much somebody could lie to somebody else. If any of that makes any sense. It does to me though. But yeah, people lie to you. People lie to you on top and on bottom. People have no problem lying to you. I think we've talked enough. This is 23 minutes. Phew. It's 7 o'clock. I gotta go to work. Sometimes you get on a roll, you gotta get the thought out before you go away. So thank you guys very much for listening. Jeez. I know, it's like the old days when I used to record games. I'd love to be able to record games, just to be able to record games and have the talk again. Um, but it still just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right for me to talk about having fun playing video games whenever we're in the worst deception in the world. It doesn't. I feel weird sometimes just reading my old comics, because it's like, shouldn't I be doing something different? I don't know. I'll tell you, the only time I don't feel like I'm wasting time is whenever I'm reading the Bible. Whenever I'm reading these Psalms to you, whenever I'm sitting upstairs eating breakfast with the Bible open, reading. That's the only time it doesn't feel like I'm wasting time at all. So maybe that's what we need. You never know. All right, guys, I gotta get going. It is work time. I shall talk to you all later. I love you. Take care. God bless. Um, do not comply with Satanists. That seems to be my new. Seems to be my new calling card now. Do not comply with Satanists and the dark powers of this world. All right. See you guys later. Go to work. Read your Bible.